Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, going to take a look in the Soulforge and tell you what is good and bad in there this week. Also going to take a look at this latest glory troop, Lord Desolatus. Yes, take a look at him then. Converts all yellow gems to brown, gains a magic +1 gold, then disease a random enemy for every 10 gold I have. Traits are Greedy, gain 2 bonus gold on 4 or 5 gem matches, Immune, immunity to disease and lycanthropy, and Merchant, gain 25 bonus gold from battle. So that convert all yellow gems to brown. Could be good in a brown based team with other brown troops of course. And the gold's okay, but there are better gold troops out there if you know what I mean. So sort of averagey, but not exactly diabolical. 5 out of 10 for you, matey lord boy. Anyway, a slightly annoying neighbour unfortunately did pass away the other day and died. I told my girlfriend, I told her, she said, hooray. I said, I know he's annoying, but it's a little bit too early to celebrate. Anyway, don't forget to grab as many of this fella if you can to get it to mythic level, and we'll upgrade him later. Alright, let's grab some resources whilst I'm here, some of them, get a bunch of other stuff, a bit more event keys, more lovely treasure maps, and a bit more gold, happy days. Right, so let's jump into the Soulforge and see what's going on in there today. Start with the weapons first as usual, and not going to go over all the ones that are here on a regular basis. They're in my Soulforge extra video, and that'll be in a link in the description below. So first up is Dark Sword. Does damage to the first enemy and deal triple damage if they use yellow mana. So very effective against yellow mana using troops, and quite cheap to craft as well. Some of these cheaper ones are actually not too bad to craft. And next up we have Blood Drinker. Ooh. Does damage to an enemy and steal half their attack. So the bigger attack the enemy, or the more attack the enemy, the more powerful they are, the more effective that can be. So yeah, good in certain situations, shall we say. Doomed Runestones. Give magic +1 life to all allies with a +2 per tempering level boost, then give 5 mana to all other allies. If the enemy has a doom, give 4 more mana and give 2 magic to all allies for each brown enemy. So yeah, an awful lot going on with some of these doomed weapons sometimes, but this is one of the ones I don't particularly like. I'm not really keen on the ones that give life and stuff like that. The ones that do damage are far more effective. It can be relevant if you've got troops in your team that do damage based on the life of your team and things like that. That's where it can come into its own. But other than that, one of the not so great doomed weapons for me. Idol of Darkstone. Remove all purple gems. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. And if the enemy is from Darkstone, or if their battle is in Darkstone, deal double damage. This is kind of the anti-Darkstone weapon for me. You take those purple gems away, that's the colour they tend to like the most, and makes it harder for them to collect their mana. So yeah, pretty good in certain situations. Chalice of Eyes. Cleanse and give magic +1 life to all allies, and summon an all-seeing eye troop. Pretty good weapon this, I do like it. It is a life-giving one, but it's a good life-giving one because you get a cleanse to all allies and life to all allies and a summon. And it has enchanting, which makes it all round pretty decent. Can be pretty annoying in the right team. Screaming Tome. Looks like one of those things that people do in their coffee, that skull thing, you know, in their creamy coffee. You do the eyes and the mouth and you blow it and it goes, whoa! It makes a, you know, it's funny, allegedly. It is a bit. Anyway, deals damage to an enemy boosted by Darkstone allies, then create a mix of 6 blue and purple gems for each Darkstone ally. Uses green and yellow, creates a blue and purple, so make sure you got a couple, at least, of blue and purple using troops from Darkstone in your team to benefit from that. I was just thinking of coffee then. In fact, I'll need a sip of my tea. Hang on. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, yes. What do people say that? Like I just said, bear with me for 1 second. It's clearly going to be more than 1 second. What they say, oh, just give me 2 seconds and I'll be back. What are you, the Flash? It's like, you know, now it's taking things literally. Anyway, I digress. What's next? Athame of Shadows. Deal a magic-based damage to an enemy, and if the enemy's attack is higher, a 20% chance to kill them. Not a fan of that kind of weapon myself. Like, the damage amount is just to a single target. and then the enemy attack has to be higher to have that chance to kill them, and even then it's only a 1 in 5 chance. So yeah, not my favourite kind of thing, that kind of thing. But if you haven't got very many weapons, or you're newer to the game, and that sort of thing comes in and works, it can be rather joyous. What is next? Must be more. Doomed Ring. Give 2 magic to all allies with a +1 per tempering level boost. And then give magic +2 armor to purple allies. If the enemy has a doom, gain 10 attack. So magic to all allies sounds kind of good, because basically it's going to put the effectiveness of this up on its next cast as well. That +1 per tempering level boost gives armor to purple allies, so you have to have purple troops in your team to benefit from that. And obviously if the enemy has a doom, you only gain the attack. So a few things have to be aligning to make that good, but it can be effective in the right team. Reba McCark, another one of those great weapons that you should always try and get if you can. Fantastic stuff. Same as the Wand of Stars. I think I must have skipped over it earlier. Yeah, I did. If you've got enough resources to craft Wand of Stars, it's just simply one of the best weapons in the game. Creating 6 elemental stars and blessing all allies, or creating 7 umbral stars and cursing all enemies. Absolutely fantastic mana generator. Can backfire sometimes, but hey, what's the yin without the yang? What's the good without the bad? Anyway, what one about? Right, where are we? Champion's Cleaver. Last one of the weapons. Explode. Magic +1 purple gems. Grant a random status effect to all Darkstone allies. Then summon a Darkstone troop. So a nice explodey summony weapon. If you haven't got one of these from Darkstone, good idea to pick this one up. Really good. Used to love these kind of weapons, especially in the early stages of the game, and still use them now. It's just always good to have that managing. The status effect can be really useful if you've got more Darkstone allies in your team, obviously, and then the summon as well can really be a game changer, especially if you're a newer player to the game and lose the odd troop here or there. But let's take a look at the troops next. Always go through these summoning stones, see who is there. A couple of good ones in here. Look, Thrower's Troll, really good. Do love Thrower's Troll. Very good defensive troop against skull-based teams. So all you got to do is hit them with a skull, and then they're entangled, providing they're not impervious or immune or anything like that. And then they can create as many skulls as they want, and it's not going to do nothing because they're entangled. Always good to pick up these empowered troops. Start battles with full mana. Converts purple to green, and Hunter's Mark the first enemy. These are always good to pick these kind of things up, and there's a few good ones here today. Royal Engineers handy in quite a few teams. A lot of people like the Dwarven Gate for its defensive abilities. So a few good ones there in that thing alone. Daughter of Time. Pretty decent as well. Crikey. A few good ones in that first lot of two things. Troops, thingies. You know what I mean. Yeah, quite a few nice ones here. She's annoying. Entangle an enemy and eliminate armor from them, and only 6 mana to get charged. Yeah. Anybody that has an extra turn, always good to pick them up too. So yeah, have a look gander through them and see what you can pick up. But let's start at the bottom and work our way up with the mythics. Who we got first? We have Leio. Does damage to an enemy and gains the same amount of armor, both boosted by all enemy magic. So the damage isn't great, the armor boost isn't great. It also means it's susceptible to true damage teams. Yeah, I just wish that damage and gain was more. But it is boosted by all enemy magic, so if the enemy had a massive amount of magic, it would be a bit more beneficial. Celestial Aegis is okay, as is Spell Armor and Holy Armor. It's just not enough to make it a particularly good mythic, though, unfortunately, for me. Next up, we have Huanglong. Does magic +1 damage to all enemies, and there are individual 50% chances to gain magic +1 attack, gain an extra turn, and gain barrier, enchanted, or blessed. So that is quite a lot going on already. But the thing that makes this a really good troop overall is its traits. Allied dragons gain 2 life. Golden armor, reduce damage from skulls by 70%. That is pretty huge. And Dragon King, give 3 magic to all dragon allies when matching 4 or more gems. Where that golden armor really comes into play is with its spell, because obviously it does that damage to all enemies. And if you get lucky with those 50% chances, You can gain attack. You can, well, you're harder to kill anyway because of that damage reduction. And you can get a barrier, again, making you harder to kill. And yeah, it can be very good. And with that magic boost as well, when matching 4 or more gems, Huanglong is a decent mythic. Do like it. Flame of Anu, not so great. Does damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by burning and fairy fired enemies. I don't know what kind of thing, like scoring system the devs use to kind of think that all these mythics are kind of equal in the end. You presume they're designed to kind of technically be equal because the mana cost should kind of reflect that. But even with the traits, there's nothing there to make it fantastic. I mean, Flaming Mane's alright. Burn and Fairy Fire a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems, because the Fairy Fire will push up that damage to at least a reasonable-ish kind of amount. But yeah, it's just, yeah, a bit rubbish. Speaking of rubbish, I didn't think it could get worse. And then Fallen Valdis come along. Does a rubbish amount of damage to all enemies, explode 3 Doom Skulls which may not exist, boosted by divine enemies, and then silence divine enemies. So it's good against divine enemies because of that silence, but apart from that, she is a bit crap. I think she was brought along as a kind of counter to divine enemies when divines ruled the roost in a big way a few years ago. There's a bit of an issue with divines just commanding the game in a massive kind of way. And she was brought along to sort that out. And she sort of did a little bit, but she's just still a bit rubbish. It's not very good at all. Is that it? Is that it? Valdis, Flame. Oh yeah, Huanglong and Leio. Right, so let's go over the legendaries quick. See if there's anybody particularly special here today. And we have a Tannenbaum. Do like this troop. Very good against skull-based teams. Does damage to an enemy, then entangle them and pull them to the front. So you can actually, providing that they're not stealthy, you can actually target someone, make it, it could be their most damaging troop, the most dangerous troop, the one that generates skulls, for example. Bring them to the front with entangle. So that's going to stop those skulls absolutely straight away. Can't be root trapped unless you curse it first, because it's immune to all status effects, devour, lycanthropy and mana burn, and does triple skull damage to entangled enemies. So as soon as you cast that, you get triple skull damage. And it's safer in first place as well because it reduces damage from skulls by 33%. So do like a bit of Tannenbaum versus skull-based teams. The Flesh Horror. Eliminate all armor from an enemy. Deal magic +2 damage to them and all enemies below. So effective in certain ways against high armor teams. And who we got next? Wrath. Still popular in Guild Wars. Transform blue gems to brown and yellow to skulls. Enrage all allies and burn all enemies. Reflect 25% of skull damage and explode 2 random gems when I take skull damage. So yeah, very effective still on Guild Wars. You do see Wrath quite a lot. And Golgotha. Explode. Magic +3 gems. Cleanse myself. So good. Mana generator with a cleanse and reduce damage from skulls by 75%. Makes it nice and tanky in first place to dish out all that lovely mana. I think that was 4. 1, 2. Yeah, it was because of Tannenbaum. Right, but who gets my mythic of the week? It is not going to be Leio. It is not going to be Flame of Anu, and it's definitely not going to be Fallen Valdis. So that only leaves Huanglong. Very, very good troop, especially if you get lucky with those 50% gains. And that reduced damage from skulls by 70% is particularly nice, as is a Dragon King, giving magic to all dragon allies when matching 4 or more gems. So Huanglong gets my mythic of the week. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. I'll be back later on with my world event and Underspire teams. Thanks for watching and bye for now.